Hey everybody, welcome to More Than Sports. We're here today with LaVan from Warren Area High School girls varsity basketball coach. She runs an incredible program over there, and today we're going to talk about women's sports, girls sports, and we're going to talk about all the experiences and all the things that Lisa's learned over the years and why there are some tremendous benefits to sports for the ladies. So thanks for tuning in. We're going to have a good time. Hey, welcome to More Than Sports Podcast. I'm Rick Rollin. I'm here with Lisa LaVan, varsity girls basketball coach at Warren Area High School. And so, welcome.
Thanks for having me. It's nice here. I like it.
In this fancy little studio, brought a basketball and a hoop for you.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
We're all set for you. Hey, we're going to talk about women's sports and specifically your experience and both as a player, a mom, a coach. You've done it all, right?
Yeah,
all of the things. And so just give a quick little background, though, about, I know you had a successful playing career, coaching career. Just tell us a little bit about you.
Yeah, so I started playing basketball back when I was in, obviously younger. I had an older brother, so he got me started in it. He's 4 years older than me, so wanted to be like big brother back in the day. Played high school ball at Bradford Area High School. I was there for obviously 4 years. Went on and played ball at Penn State Barron in Erie, Pennsylvania. Played 4 years there with the best coach ever, Roz Fenari. She is a staple in women's basketball and always has been. After that, I honestly got away from it for a little bit. It was time for a break. I was a little burned out. But then, of course, somebody who loves the game, you obviously miss it. So I got back into it. Probably about 8 to 9 years later, just kind of dabbling back in it with kids and boys and girls, and then really stuck obviously on the girls side of things. Started in junior high here at Warren, which is interesting at times. Junior high girls. Did that for a year and then took over. So now I'm in my 13th.
If you can coach junior high girls, you can coach anything.
This is true. Honestly, if you can coach junior high girls, you can do anything in life, because that is in itself is a feat, I think. So
you've been there 13 years though. As the
13 years now. Yep.
Very good. So. And just so you guys know, she just won her 200th game.
Did.
It's really that says no other coach at Warren has done in girls.
As far as I know,
so
that's what they're telling me.
Yeah.
So,
I think there's maybe only one other in the county who did that. That was Pat Black back in the day. He coached Trevor. But huge congratulations, massive, and in 13 years that is a lot of.
Yeah, my husband's a math teacher, so he breaks down all that for me. He says it's like 15 some wins on average or something. Hey, whatever.
That's a big deal. So congratulations.
Thanks.
And also you coach 3 daughters on your team.
I do.
Yeah, that's cool. And
yes.
The oldest just got her 1,000th point last night.
She did. She just got it. Yep. As a junior, very big deal.
Big deal.
Something she's been striving for. Yep. So she always had those, which we'll talk about, I'm sure, those role models in front of her that she aspired to be like. So it was huge for her, for sure.
Well, so let's get on with a little bit, because we want to talk about, obviously, you've had a lot of success in wins and points and college level and all that. It's actually interesting, that break you had. I actually believe breaks like that are really important. They kind of maybe refocus us a little bit.
Doubt.
I really do think they're really key. But let's get into, you got into coaching, junior high, and then at the varsity level, and now you've been doing it for long enough. Reflect a little bit. Why do you coach? I mean, it's a legit question, and when people ask me that, I always flippantly say, listen, I just like to win. So, but of course, really though, what is behind, and you speak for a lot of coaches when you say this, but what's behind coaching? Why do you coach?
I would say the biggest reason for me is give back. I think that's the reason why I do it. I know what basketball meant to me and how basketball helped me, especially being in high school. Back in the late 90s, in a small rural town, girls athletes weren't really, they weren't on a pedestal. No. They weren't highly sought after to date. There was none of that. It wasn't, they weren't cool, I guess. So it was hard. It was really hard growing up and playing a sport. Got picked on a lot, got made fun of a lot, but I always knew what I was doing was the right thing, and I knew that I loved it, and I had a passion for it, and then that passion really grew as I got into college with it, and having a mentor like Roz Fenari that was like, listen, like, it's okay to be different, it's okay to like step out, and the empowerment you feel when you're on the court and you're doing these things, and when you work so hard for something and try to achieve a goal and you do that. So for me, it's give back, because I want to give back to these girls, to these young ladies, what I was given. And the empowerment that I felt in being able to do it.
Empowerment is such a big thing. And it, of course, it's in boys and girls sports, but I really believe it's something special in a female athlete that they can get a hold of that they hit. And then that, of course, most people don't play college ball. Most people don't coach.
Right.
But they carry that with them in anything, whatever that is. That is a life. I can do something when they tell me I can't. I can, so definitely. So you really experienced that. And then, of course, you had a great coach at Barron that you said, I want to do this for other people.
Yeah, exactly. And it was it's amazing how many coaches she has gotten out of her program. Right. She stepped away, actually. She does not coach anymore. She got away out of it completely. But I could name off a ton that are either coaching now in the ranks or have coached at some point, because they felt that empowerment to give back because of what she did for us and how important she was in our growth. So the empowerment side of it, I mean, even too, like with my job today and what I do, working in a team environment, having the confidence. I think that's the other big word that I would throw out there is confidence. Is when you can do something and put yourself out there to be vulnerable in the game of basketball, and you do well with it and you succeed, the confidence just knocks you through the roof.
Well, yeah, because it's, when you coach at junior high level, of course, that's all young people are struggling at junior high level to figure out who they are, right?
Yeah.
And then you put them on a foul line with the game on the line, and there's nobody helping.
No help in there. Mom and Dad aren't there to help you make that shot. No.
And you miss some, but when you make that one, you're like, hey, I can do that.
No doubt. That's big, for sure.
Those are huge things. And I hear this all the time when I talk to, like, I'll interview even girls who were, ladies who were athletes. And I say, what did you get out? It usually comes up in confidence. I got confidence. Because I didn't have it. I did something. And it's usually a coach forced them to do something that they didn't think they could do.
Oh yeah, 100%. So now my players, they hear that one a lot from me, is I'll never ask you to do something I don't think you're capable of doing, because I want you to go, now you're going to do it and you're going to fail probably quite a number of times before you get there and you succeed. But that's the other piece to it, is failure. Is so many people put a negative tone around failure, and failure is the essence of everything. I mean, just think about all the great people and all the great things that are invented. If they would have stopped on that first failure, we wouldn't have electricity, we wouldn't have internet, we wouldn't have anything. So and it's so big.
Basketball is designed to fail, because your best, let's say 3-point shooter, the best of the best of the best might make 40%.
Yeah.
I mean, that's elite. That's Steph Curry level.
Yeah, don't tell Riley Childress that. She thinks she should make 100% of hers.
You always think it should.
Yes, that's the girl. That kid has confidence, but yeah.
Well, but that's what you have. The confidence comes that I know I'll fail. I don't care.
Yeah.
Give me another shot.
Yeah, exactly.
I love coaching shooters, and you have to coach the whole team with this. That take a girl like Riley.
Yeah.
So they say she misses 3 or 4 in a row. Well, you shoot the 4th. You shoot the 5th.
Oh yeah.
And the other team's got to know that you got to keep giving her, because all of a sudden. Bam, 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 bam. He scored 9 points in a minute and a half.
Exactly.
But that's where confidence is.
100%.
I mean, you've coached the shooters who had no confidence.
Yeah.
Well, didn't matter how good they were.
Exactly.
They can't shoot. And so that is huge.
That's a mentality.
So, and I watch your teams play, and you can tell that they've got that mentality. They've got that. It's a fearless mentality.
Yep.
I would not want to play your team. So.
I would not want to play them sometimes either. They're very physical and very tough. That's for sure.
But and you talk about you got into coaching a lot because of how it influenced you into coaches.
Yeah.
You haven't maybe quite been in it long enough to see your coaching tree. Yeah. But it'll be there. You probably haven't had many coaches. They're still young.
No, I haven't. Because I have, they're just now starting to get out of college, start families.
But you'll see that, and you'll see them point to all the stuff that you're doing, all the stuff and it will, because you're creating a place for them to develop in that. So now success, because you've had, obviously we never want to minimize. If you lost every game, you wouldn't have the influence you had on people. I get that. Yeah. But so you obviously want the wins and losses and points and good defense, and that makes it way more fun. Yeah. But if you were to say, okay, this year, what makes it a success to you? Aside, I know you want to win.
Yeah, so aside from wins. Yeah, I mean, wins, obviously, yes. That's no-brainer. We'll just put that one aside. That one's... But I would say, I look at my JV team, and I think, I'll just take this year, for example. My JV team was extremely raw. They were great kids, hard workers. They lacked some of those basketball skills, and we weren't able to work on them this summer. We were talking about this offline as we were coming in here. So I was able to develop that. So for me, in a pandemic world, it was, game after game after game after game, so little development. But what little development we could find, we did. And I'll tell you what, the last 2 games, my JV team has played phenomenal. And that's what I love about it, is it finally clicks. At some point, it clicks with them, and it did. And that's just like, to me, that's why I keep coming back to coaching too. Is, you have all the bad things that come up, all the negative that happens, because there is negative. There's lots of it all around you. But it's always those little wins that you see, and those are the ones. So I would say success is obviously seeing a kid develop and have that light bulb go off. To be like, holy cow, like I can do this. And it's not just I can shoot a shot, I can make a layup, I can dribble a basketball. It's like I can do this. And when they can do that, that confidence. That just builds up, and you can see that. I just love seeing at the beginning of the season when a kid can't make eye contact with me, and by the end of the season they're staring you dead in the eye, and you're like, holy cow, like I did something.
And they're standing up to you a little bit.
Exactly. They're like, oh, so that's awesome for me.
Well, and when you look for the development, then every year could be a success, because obviously some years you've had great success in the and of course some years not quite as much. But if you're saying this is successful, that's we can always shoot for that. We can always get there, because you've had some phenomenal players, but you're gonna have some year where you don't.
Oh,
and so
for sure.
Just and that's obviously a life thing, right? We're just looking to improve. They're looking to get better today.
And I think the big thing is sometimes you don't know at the end of the season, or even at the end of their 4 years, like, what did I do? How was your season? How did you do? And I think the great Aaron Straub, who I love, who coaches at Elk, he coaches boys, he made a comment, and the comment was, ask me in 10 years. I'll let you know how I did. And I think that's important, because I think, and I'm seeing a lot of these girls now coming out of college. I mean, Paige Wilson's going to be a doctor. I got, Emily Sherman is a doctor. She just got her doctor, just passed all that stuff. And I sat on that. That was intense, let me tell you, sitting on a thesis and going through all that fun stuff. But yeah, so those were the things that you look back on and you're like, wow.
And probably, obviously somebody goes into a doctor, they're not going to the WNBA. But more than likely, a lot of what impacted them through the basketball program is actually what drove them to get there.
Very much so. It was a part of it. I mean, can I take all the credit in the world for, Emily Sherman being a doctor? No. But I can take with me that I do know that I taught her some life lessons.
And
she tells me often, and I love her for that. So she lets me know.
And that keeps you going, because there's always another wave coming out.
Oh, yeah. For sure.
And that Straub, what did he win? Like 300 and something?
He's up at 900.
He's the one.
He's that guy.
Yeah, that guy.
That I will never get to that point.
You'll never get old enough to get.
That's insane. Yes. Yeah, he's a mastermind too. He's done phenomenal.
But when you look at in the coaching world, the coaches that get it, that aren't just in it for personal gain or whatever, it's big time. It's so influential, and obviously we're not ignorant to the fact that we make mistakes, we hurt people, we do things like, my gosh, why did I say that? So we're not ignorant to that. So we're not painting this rosy thing. We obviously we apologize for things, and we repent of things.
Yeah, exactly. Forgiveness.
But it's that driving thing. So you're now to the point where probably people view you as that lady, right? The one who's coached, 13 years, that's pretty longevity in high school. So you're now the one that maybe the younger coaches are at least looking to, or maybe the programs that maybe aren't winning are looking to, what's she doing? What would be, if you were to sit and you're teaching a coaching clinic, and so you've got all these 20-some-year-old coaches, boys, girls, whatever, what do you say to them? What's your message to coaches? What would you want to say to them?
Well, I would be honored, for one, to have anybody ask me that. I mean, as much as I have been around, I have won some games, I have done some great things, I still am always learning. So I think that would be the first thing, is always learn, always have an open mind. I've always said too, is that when people always want to give you advice when you're out there, right? They want to and you have, if you're going to listen to the good stuff, you have to listen to the bad stuff too. And I've always done that, because I think that, and not that I can't take anything to heart, because there are obviously negative people out there that are going to try and tear you down and do what you can. I told my players the other day actually that haters hate winners. It's the way it is.
For sure.
You're going to have haters out there, and You just have to roll your shoulders back.
If you lose every game, you don't make many enemies, right?
Exactly.
So,
Exactly.
Same way
So
in
true.
life, right?
Yeah, exactly. Bullseye on your back. So I think that would be my first big one is always keep learning. Always, don't have a closed mind. Always adapt. I think that I've done some presentations for the PIAA because I'm also an official, basketball official. So I've done some presentations there, and one of them I've done is that the game has evolved.
Oh yeah.
And we were just talking about that too, right? I mean, it's a fast-paced drive and three points, type of game, and it's so different now than it was back when I played. So you have to evolve. Don't get stuck in like the old times and evolve with the game.
Well, and evolve with your team, right?
Yes, you have.
If you got 4 6-footers, you'll play differently than if you got everybody 5'2".
Yeah, exactly. I can't recruit. I can't go out and get the kids that I want to fit my system. I have to make my system fit my kids.
So always change. Always be willing to adapt. I like that.
Yeah. And I think above all else, I think the most important message I would lay down is that you're a mentor. You're a role model, and you should act that way.
Right.
There's always eyes on you, and I've had the privilege of having a lot of eyes on me because I have 3 daughters. So I always knew that my only thing I ever wanted to be in life was to be a mom. Like I didn't care about my job. I didn't care about anything. I just wanted to be a mom, and I think I carried that over with my team. I would say that I have 3 girls playing for me, but nobody ever knows if I'm talking about my girls or my girls because they're all my girls.
Exactly.
So I think that's. But I would say, know that you are a role model and you always have eyes on you, and you should, make good decisions, be smart about the things that you do, and I think that's important because, especially with girls. I mean, I think in young women, I think that's.
Well, you have a unique role because I think there's advantages and disadvantages of both being a guy coaching girls and a lady coaching girls. But one of the things that you have as a lady, they literally can follow your footsteps.
Yes.
And so it's a really special thing because you're also teaching them how to be a mom.
Yes.
You're teaching them how to deal with life and job and marriage and kids and all that stuff, and it's a pretty special thing. So that's solid things because it's coaching is way more than the game.
Definitely.
Right?
And I'd throw in on that too is just because you're a role model doesn't mean you don't fail. And I'd come back to that. Obviously I've been through a divorce. I know that I have failed in pieces of my life, but I've always found ways to pick myself back up and put it all back together again.
Right.
And obviously having God in my life has always been huge for me, and having that faith to know that at the end of the day, that's the guy that matters the most, and that's the one I say my good nights to, and make sure he knows that I'm sorry for the things that I've done. But you've got to be a good role model. Yeah,
and even on failure, obviously, sports prepare us to fail, and we can't get past that because I mean you have. Maybe you haven't, but most coaches have had losing seasons. Have you had bad seasons?
I've had 2.
Okay.
I know which ones they are, and I know who was on my team, and they were frustrated too. But I've had 2.
But those seasons are really important seasons because they do prepare you for the in the natural successful seasons. And in life too. Yeah, I've had a failure. I blew it here. I did this here, but I didn't quit.
No, exactly true. I would say my 2 losing seasons, and John, my assistant, and we always joke about this, we had the best bounce back seasons this following year. The one losing season, the next year we won our second District 10 title with Mario as a senior. So that was a bounce back year. Yeah, we learned a lot in the year before.
But those are good principles of life. We always, this podcast is more than sports. We say it's way more than sports. It's all about people because it just so happens that we gather people around the ball. Yeah. But it's all about people. It's way more than sports.
100%.
So let's just say now you do this all the time. You got a 7th grade girl, could be a boy too, but 7th grade girl, she's struggling with life. She's struggling with kind of getting awkward, and I don't even know if I can run anymore, and I shouldn't do this, and I got all that stuff. She kind of is out for basketball. What do you say to that kid? They're not sure even if they want to get up tomorrow, right? It's a weird time in life, but should I stick it out with basketball? Should I stick it out with that? My heart goes out for that 12, 13, 14-year-old kid. Yeah. And because it's hard. It's a hard time in life. And I think it's harder every year. It's harder than the previous year's 12-year-old. Talk to them as a coach, as a mom. Should they stick it out? What should they do? How do you talk to them? Because you have to have this conversation a lot.
Oh yeah, for sure. And I think the one that I always fall back to is like, you have to have something in your life you're passionate about.
Mm-hmm.
Like, find something that you're passionate about. Why not it be basketball? Why not let it be that? And or any sport for that matter. It doesn't have to be basketball. Obviously, I think basketball is great, but it could be another sport. Right. But like, you know, and honestly, I have that conversation with my girls all the time. Like, what are you passionate about? Right. Like, what do you pour yourself into? Because it can't be your phone. It can't be the television set. Right. It can't be, you know, negative energy. It has to be something that's positive. To me, there's nothing more positive than a sport because you're with other people. You're working together towards a common goal. Right. So I've always said, like, like, what else are you going to do with that time? That extra time that you don't want to be in the gym or you don't want to be doing that, what are you going to do with that time? Yeah, and that's when when I have those girls that want to come to me and want to quit, like, hey, coach, I don't think I can do this anymore. Okay, all right, let's have a conversation about that. What are you going to do with that time?
What are you going to do with that time? I love that.
And think about that because of, like, where are you going to put that extra time from? Because if it's not going to go to good use, then you need to keep going.
Well, and the word passion, and obviously not everybody's passion is basketball, but they got to have a passion. When a kid loses a passion, nothing. I mean, it could be.
What do they turn to?
What do they turn to? It's all bad, right? If there's no passion that's going to make you do the right things, you know, whether it's playing the trumpet or whatever, but I got some passion, and that's a really good thing. And then if they're kind of passionate about, in your case, basketball, well, I'll help you get more passion.
Yeah, exactly. Because
you can work with that. There was nothing worse than somebody having talent and no passion, right? That's the most frustrating thing.
Oh, yeah. I've had a few of those.
Definitely. But I love that. Encourage the young person to find something to be passionate about and pursue it. And I'll help you pursue it, even if it's not my field.
Exactly.
I'll help you pursue it.
Yeah.
That's a lot of wisdom. So you've dealt with a lot of parents, I'm sure. And
maybe a few.
All parents are perfect to coaches.
Yes.
but
100%.
Let's just say I'm a parent of, you know, I've got a girl or a boy, and actually I have two boys, but let's say I have somebody come. What do you? Because parents, it's a kind of a cool relationship between the coach and the parent and the kids. Yeah. And we all know the horror stories. I get it. Yeah. But there can be a really special thing going on there, and I'm sure some of the most amazing people have been the parents. So, so now you are a parent and you're coaching parents' kids. Yeah. Talk to the parent. What should the parent do? What should we be doing to make this a success in more than just the win column?
The easiest word there is support. And I think that it's support of your kid and it's support of those coaches. I mean, for the most part, if somebody's coaching, they're doing it because they love it. Right. They're not doing it to, like, oh, I'm going to be a coach so I can, like, you know, pick on a kid or do whatever. Like, all they want to do is help. Now, again, we're not perfect. We make mistakes. Right. We yell sometimes when we shouldn't yell, or we do things again, because the passion kind of takes over. Sure. But I would say support is the biggest thing. You know, these kids, when they're making mistakes and they're screwing up and they're failing, they don't need to keep continually hear it. Like, obviously their coach is letting them know that they failed and they need to build upon that. So, and obviously not contradicting what the coach is doing. You know, obviously, again, the coaches are there to help. They're there to guide. And sometimes, like, obviously, like, my daughters, when they're outside of, like, playing basketball for me, and I've had other, you know, hey, will you coach your AAU team? Hey, no. Like, they need somebody else. I firmly believe that they need other adults in their life to guide them. I mean, Emma, you know, obviously she just scored that 1,000 point, and she'll say, like, I want, you know, my mom had a big part of that, and sure I did, but she's had trainers and other coaches and all these other people that have helped her, and that's good. That's okay.
And they're influencing her life too. So you want to keep the circle getting bigger on that. Well, and the whole support thing, and you mentioned a good thing, because you do, you know, as coaches, and we could have 100 coaches that all say a similar thing. We do things that, I wish we hadn't said that, and so that kid goes home and tells mom, my coach is so mean. And that's where, if they work with you, it can be a big win, because then they can learn, well, listen, Coach LaVan didn't mean it like that. Let's work together on this. He just wants you to keep getting better.
And I'll say too, I think a lot in my program, like, I'll communicate with parents and I talk with parents, but they get to an age in high school where it's like, again, it gets back to those life lessons I'm trying to teach them. Like, mom and dad aren't always going to be around. Right. Like, you're going to go away to college, you're going to have a job. Like, mom isn't always, and dad aren't always going to be there. So you have to be able to fend for yourself. So, hey, the game time changed, you need to go tell mom and dad. That's not my responsibility to tell mom and dad, hey, our practice time changed. That's your responsibility. So things like that, where, again, we're trying to teach them responsibility, where hey, I'll talk to your parents, we'll have conversations,
Right.
but like, hey, this is a you and me thing, and when mom and dad need to talk, we'll talk, but trying to push that responsibility onto them a little bit more.
Well, I love coaching. I love this year, of course, I didn't get to see your team in person because nobody did.
Nice.
But actually, here's the cool thing. I probably would have seen one, because I coach. I probably might have seen one of your games this year. I think I saw them all.
Yeah.
That
is the positive.
That is the
sure.
positive.
Yeah. No
I
doubt.
listened to Brian Hagberg and Andy Close a lot.
Yes.
But it's a fun season. I know you love coaching, and it's fun to watch. But it's all about the life. It's all about the kids. It's all about the people. It's the families. It's the community you're developing. I just want to thank you for doing that. You're a big part of Warren, the county of Warren. It's no doubt about that. And also because we do things internationally a lot, and we're helping. One of the things we're helping is women's sports in other countries, and so you're a voice to them, and you're saying get out and do it, because it's a life empowering thing, and so it just does great things. So I want to thank you. I don't know anything else you want to say? Anything?
No, I don't think so. Thanks for having me. This is exciting, because anytime you can again give back.
Yep.
Anytime I can give back and then help, I'll always want to do that, because it's mattered the world to me to play this sport and to teach it.
Well, it's also been fun to watch you coach your kids. So that's three of them. A lot of people coach one of their kids, but you got three.
Three of them. What would be entertaining is if they mic'd all four of us in a game.
And it might not be entertaining.
It might not be something anybody will want to watch. But it's they bicker like sisters. And I'll be honest, they fight like boys sometimes. So.
Well, they're almost like triplets because they're so close in age.
So true. Yes, no doubt.
But thanks so much for coming on. I appreciate it. Wish you the best in your playoff run.
Thanks.
And it's exciting, and hopefully for a good off season that doesn't have a lot of hiccups in it. Right?
Yeah. Let's get rid of the pandemic, please.
Exactly. Well, hey, thanks so much for tuning in, and we've just been so thankful to have Lisa with us. And remember, it's way more than sports. It's all about people. So get out there and love people and do great things. So God bless. Hey, if you like what you're hearing on the More Than Sports podcast, there's lots more episodes and notes, and you can listen again and share with your friends. And here's how you go. You go to morethansports.net. Morethansports.net. You'll see a lot of things there. If you do now, we're giving away some gear. Got some long sleeve t-shirts we're giving away and some other things. And so we certainly appreciate your support and sharing this and letting people know about it. Check us out, morethansports.net from the International Sports Academy. We appreciate your viewership.